Good. How are we doing? My list of thank yous is going to be a little bit longer than Brent's. He gets up here a little more than I do, so I'm going to take advantage of my opportunity to thank some folks. Starting with our senior leadership with President Harris and Randall Stevenson and Joe Castiglione. Just without their leadership, none of this would be possible. They're unbelievable. Someone asked, I get a lot of questions from my friends around the NFL curious about the job and how things are going, and I point to that first, that group of men and Coach Venables making this job very enjoyable. The Board of Regents, all our donors, the fans, everyone that supports the program. Hopefully we will be playing one more game out there inside the Palace. That would be great. Want to thank Coach Venables and the entire staff. I mean, this has been, used the word collaboration a lot at the first press conference, and to see it play itself out has been really fun. It's been really cool. The groups are really coming together. I'm already moving in this 27 cycle. It's just going to keep getting better and better. So that's been great. Coaches have done an unbelievable job, kind of in an era where it's supposed to be transactional now. That's what everyone says. It's here it's really not. The coaching staff is unbelievable with the relational piece. I truly believe like the guys that we end up with at Oklahoma are here for a reason. We're getting the right guys because we're going to sell what we sell, and it's either going to attract guys or it's not. And I think a lot of the guys buy into our coaching staff and our development, and they just really work hard at that part of it. So, and then the front office staff, I'm going to name these guys individually one by one because they've just done an unbelievable job. They deserve the shout out. I'll start with the assistant GMs, Lake Dawson and Taylor Redd, Stacy Ford, Drew Hill, Caleb Pearson, our directors, Charlie Parkinson, our college director who's really getting his hands dirty in the portal, has been all fall and continues to right now. And then Patrick Armstrong, TJ Lynn, Logan Armstrong, and Andrew Bauer to round out the front office staff. And then we'll go to the recruiting staff, the recruiting girls, Taylor Baker, Emily Jones have done an unbelievable job. All the student help we get, couldn't do it without those guys. Strength and conditioning staff, Schmitty, James Dobbs, and the crew have been awesome. Every time we bring all these OVs in, all these people, when we bring these guys on official visits, put so much into it. Jonathan Gress in the sports med staff, Robert Sossaman in sports science, Brooke Helm in nutrition, her staff, Big Wit in the equipment staff, do an unbelievable job, and then Max and Matt in academics and their staff. And then lastly, Lorenda Holston, Caleb Kelly, and Vince Carter in the Soul Mission, which is really the front porch of our recruiting efforts. They do an unbelievable job. As you all know, being around the program, that's Brent's baby, and he really believes in it, and so does everyone in the program. And a lot of these families that want to see their boys come to OU and grow into men, believe in the Soul Mission, and so those Lorenda, Caleb, Vince have done an unbelievable job. And then the MVPs of the last 48 hours, Grayson Fuller with our legal counsel, getting all these contracts prepared, and Danielle Koval from compliance have done unbelievable. I don't think they slept last night. I was up pretty late with them. I did sneak in some sleep, but I think they might have worked all the way through. As Brent said, I listened to his portion of it. I won't go player by player. I'll just kind of sum up the position group. He did a great job kind of wrapping those guys up with his thoughts, and I'll answer anything. Love this class. Love where we ended up here with the 23 players. Or is it 24 now? Is it 24 with Petit? 24 players. Yeah, if you would have told me back in March when I got here, I remember looking at the board they had in place and the names that were up there. To be here, standing here in December with this group of young men, it's pretty exciting. So I want to say we added 8 post the June OVs. So we had 8 fall. We kind of thought that would happen. We kind of felt like we were going to have a good team. We thought if we had success on the field that things would start to turn, momentum would start to turn. We'd be able to flip some players. We'd be able to identify some guys that were maybe under the radar, which we were able to do both things. So that really worked out. Momentum is a real thing in recruiting. I learned that this cycle. I've learned a lot this cycle. I'm learning every day on this job, but that's clearly a big deal. You know, working in the NFL, I always heard that you shouldn't negative recruit. In college, I learned real quickly on this job people were negative recruiting. So that was probably working against us. And now that we had some success on the field, we had some players come back our way. So Starting on the defensive side of the ball with, Brent talked about that front group. So we've got 5 guys coming in. I think the things that stand out are length and versatility and athleticism. That group got longer, more versatile, more athletic. You have to be athletic to play in our front. You guys know that watching us. So guys with those movement skills to be able to come off twists and games and those things. So really fun group. Linebackers, man, we got three of these 4 guys this fall. Dane Bathurst, Jacob Curry, and Christian Moore. I think the thing that stands out with these guys, they are just innately physical. There's some violence in that group. That's one of the pillars of the program. We're looking for violent players. All these guys suit that, including Bo Jandrew. He and his brother Nico just had a great FaceTime with all these guys this morning when they signed. We FaceTimed all of them as a group. Bo and Nico are, as Coach Venables talked about, I think they're going to come in here and make an impact in this program, not just on the field, but the types of guys they are off the field. So that group of Dane and Jacob and Bo and Christian Moore are just a really cool group of players. We're excited about those guys. They're going to be the core of our special teams moving forward. I would expect all those guys to really push for significant roles as freshmen in that capacity. And then in the defensive backfield, Derek Johnson was our only corner. Kind of wish we could have added a couple more there, but I'm excited about the haul we're going to get in 27 without naming names. And then the 2 safeties, Nico Jandreau and Markel Ford, 2 of my favorite guys from when I came in here in March. Love the Jandreau brothers. Markel Ford was D.D. Ford was a real favorite of mine. Again, like Brent said, he decided to go somewhere else, and at the last minute, B. Hall, I think our coaches did a great job of staying on a lot of these players. And Brandon Hall deserves a lot of credit for that relationship. And Dee and his mom circled back. And, man, the guy, like Brent said, he played a lot of corner this year, but I see him as a safety. But he does have really nice man coverage skills for his safety. And the common theme with a lot of these guys on defense, they are going to fly around. And I got to watch my words here, but they're going to knock your head off. So it's going to be a fast and violent defense moving forward. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Really versatile players. Offensively, starting with Bo, I mean, I think you just say he's a winner. He's never lost a game. Cool to see him in the locker room the other day. He had his arm in a sling. I didn't know what that was about. So he's going to gut it out and play in I believe, the state title game this week. But seeing Bo, the cool thing with Bo being so close to home, he's been here basically every week. He's been around this team. He's seen why this team has been successful, the grittiness it's taken for this team to go 10-2, and he's just been around it. It feels like Bo's been a part of this team this fall. A couple of these guys, Noah Best. I mean, there's a few guys that have been, feels like at every game. But for our future leader of this football team to be around it and see John and see this team has been really valuable. So love Bo Bentley, love all he's about, love the family. They've done a great job with him. Offensive line, another group I wish we could have added a couple more numbers there, but the 2 we got I really like, Noah Best and Deacon Schmidt. Position versatility is key, and Deacon's ability to play both guard and tackle, and then Noah more interior guard to center is going to be huge. We can't have any one position players moving forward. That gets you in a lot of trouble with your roster, so both those guys can move around quite a bit. Deacon Schmidt is just a lot of fun to watch. He is an absolute bully. He's going to be the benchmark moving forward of guys we want to add to this program on the offensive line. Had a great FaceTime with him today. He has had his OU parking spot at high school painted out all fall, which is pretty awesome. He and his family are all about OU. The running backs, Jonathan Hatton to Zephyr Walker, 2 SEC backs. They've got size. They can make you miss. They can absorb contact. They're physical runners. Really excited about those 2 guys, adding those 2 guys in the mix. And then at receiver, we had Jaden Petit crossed off here, but now that he's in the fold, it's a really cool group. Jaden Petit, as Brent said, we chased him pretty hard. He was one of my favorite players when I got here in March. That was currently on the board. Daniel Odom was committed. Love Daniel's game. Zizi and then Jasir. It's a nice group in that they have a really complementary skill set. A lot of people talk about putting together a basketball team at the wide receiver position. Didn't do that intentionally. We were just trying to add playmakers, guys that could do something with the ball in their hands and make plays for the quarterback. So that was the key with that group, and we feel like we added 4 guys that could do that. And then in the tight end room, Ryder Mix, Tyler Ruxer, love Ryder, Texas tough kid, shows up here every week with his cowboy boots on. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury, so he's going to come here and be rehabbing, but we love his toughness. He's what we're all about. And then Rux was a really fun find. We were just scrolling high school track times last year, and I think he was the fastest tight end in the country. Ran 11 flat 100 meters, so that's rolling for a tight end. And so we think we can get some cool playmaking ability out of Tyler. And then Trace Rudd, our guy now has set the bar pretty high for kicker at this school. But like Brent said, Trace is wired. They're really similar guys when you're around Trace and you're around Tater. So fun group. Really love the versatility, the violence, the speed, and really the types of guys. We really were dialed in on the types of guys that we want in this program. Football being really important to them. We wanted guys that were great teammates, had presence, had confidence. My past with the Seattle Seahawks, we were really big on just collecting alphas, and so that's something I really was dialed into through the recruiting process. Guys that were ready to come in and play. This is a developmental program. The coaches do a great job with it. But the guys got to be wired right to come in and play right away and be developed. So we feel like we did that. Really like this group. Really like the families of this group as well. I think I've been on the record saying that the families are going to play a key role in our recruiting moving forward. I just think with where college football is at right now and this being a business, these players getting paid, I think the family support is going to be really big for those guys. So we love all the families as well. But open up to questions.
Start in the back, James.
Jim, we talked to, we're used to, coaches in the day, they did all the recruiting and everything. Since your staff has come on and you guys have integrated in, and you guys do a lot of evaluation, or you work in conjunction with the coaches now, can you give us an idea how all that works and how you come to today and how much you guys have worked together to get to today?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll say this, for lack of a better phrase, and I've used it with all the families on the official visits, we are trimming the fat, essentially, for our coaches. Like Brent said, we've got a lot of experienced evaluators, great people at what they do. So, with our scouting staff, it'll start at the lower levels of the scouting staff. Everyone's got states and regions, and then we cross-check by position. So, rather than just, a coach or two having their eyeballs on a player, this is really – we have grades on from 7 or 8 grades on a particular player. So it won't get kicked to the coaching staff until it makes its way up our scouting staff. And then it'll get to Lake and Taylor and myself and Coach V and the position coaches. And then if we don't see it eye to eye, like we want the coaches to coach guys that they want to coach, right? You're going to undermine a guy's career if the coaches aren't on board. So that's the process, and if the players kick to the coaches with the certain grades, and they don't see it that way, we have meetings every week. We call them discrepancy meetings, and we'll watch the player. And if we still can't get on the same page, then we move on. I said that to Brent the day I came in to interview. There's a million high school players out there, and if we don't see it eye to eye, we'll move on and find a new guy. So that's really how it works, and the selling recruiting on the official visits has been, that time bought back from the coaches, so they're not sitting at their desk watching a couple hours of high school tape every day. That's more into development. And I think if you talk to our assistant coaches about it, they will tell you that they feel like this is their best season with their guys. And I think that, we haven't, our staff, our front office isn't responsible for putting a lot of the players out there this year yet. But I think we have added value to the program because the position coaches get more time with their players. And certainly Coach Venables gets to do what he does great, and that's coordinated defense. So just giving those guys more time.
Yeah, he kind of took a little bit, but I asked Brent about Jake Krell. You talked about size, length, speed. He doesn't fit some of that. He does fit the mentality of the program as far as the George called grimy. Can you touch base a little bit on what he is?
Yeah, the physical profile in terms of like length, but you can deviate from that. Not everyone's got to be cookie cutter. But what Jake's got some special stuff, and I feel like when you talk about Jake and you talk about how hard he works, people want to pigeonhole him as like this try-hard guy. That's not it at all. You guys have seen him on tape. He's shot out of a cannon. I hadn't watched Jake's tape because we've had him in the boat since the summer. I didn't really I spent a lot of time every Monday kind of watching our class and making sure they were playing up to where we thought they were. And I didn't do that with Jake for about the first month of the season. And when I put it on whatever it was, week 5, week 6, early in October, I was like, I forgot how fast he was coming off the ball. So he's a really good athlete. You don't bend like that and change direction like that without being a high-level athlete. So, yeah, I mean, the goal is, like I said, it's we got to find a quarterback every year. We got to find guys that protect the quarterback and guys that affect the quarterback, and that's Jake. I mean, he's going to get home a ton. We expect him to be a part of that rotation next year as part of those sub-package rotations, getting in there and putting heat on the quarterback. I think that's something he's ready to do right now. So just excited about it. He's up here. His FaceTime today, again, it feels like he's on our team already. You know, we have such familiarity with Jake. Just fired up to get him up here.
Far right side, Ryan Chapman. You talked about your flow chart, but just when you guys arrived, what was it like this 2026 process, knowing that this class has been worked on for years and years and years to integrate all that and get to today? Yeah,
that's a great question, Ryan. Probably it took a little finessing this time around because this coaching staff was already on all these guys. And moving forward, again, this is the collaboration where, like, if a coach gets a call from a coaching friend that, hey, you got to come check out my guy, and it's not someone that has been passed along from the scouting staff, like, of course he comes to us like, hey, my coaching buddy gave me this name. Will you guys watch him? So I'm not saying it won't ever happen where coaches bring us players. It's probably going to happen a lot. But this was this class. These guys were in deep with the 2026 class. We got here in March, and we weren't midstream in March. We were downstream on the 2026 class. So there wasn't a whole. It was hard to really pivot. Now we did, you know, when we came in and evaluated some of the players and didn't see it eye to eye, we really had to take some hard right-hand turns on this class. And the exciting thing for 27 is now we're all on the same page, because where I'm at, those coaches have invested so much, because they do. Our coaches put a ton into it. And it's hard to go to a position coach who's put in so much work and developed relationships and say, you know, I really appreciate all the time you've put in, but just don't see it that way, and we're going to pivot. So that wasn't easy. And I just think big picture with our staff, I told the guys, and we kind of added guys on the staff, you know, incrementally. Every conversation when we brought guys on board is like, guys, put your head down and go to work. Like, we have to earn the respect, you know, of this coaching staff. This is new for them. This is foreign for them. It's never been done. So we need to come in and earn the respect. So that's what we've done. But, you know, hopefully moving forward, there will be less and less of those conversations, because we'll all be on the same page moving forward. I don't know if that answered what you're asking, but.
Left side, Jesse.
Yeah, Jim, you mentioned momentum being a real thing in recruiting and the team success playing a role. I was just curious, over the last month as this team was getting some big wins, particularly on the road, just how much did that have an impact on this recruiting class? And maybe what have you learned about seizing on that kind of momentum when it comes to putting a class together?
Yeah, I was so nervous the other night against LSU. As the clock was ticking down, I'm thinking, okay, we're either going to the playoff, and for the rest of the recruiting cycle in 27, we're going to be able to put the college football playoff logo on our recruiting materials, or we're going to another bowl game. So that was big. Yeah, momentum's huge. It makes sense, right? But my prior life, I didn't really think about recruiting and what matters, and but to live it out this year, to go from this team being 6-7 to flipping it, going 10-2, yeah, it's unbelievable. It's made a huge impact.
Okay. Stay over here, Bob.
Yeah, Jim, last month seeing quarterbacks flip like crazy. Just the process of getting Bo and just having him as the firm foundation like this entire time.
Yeah. So when I got here, we had another quarterback committed. So it's another one of those situations last spring where we were, things were delicate. Like, this isn't easy. These are young men. These are families. And so there's some sensitive circumstances, but, we've been with Bo now. Gosh, again, he just feels like part of the program. So I think it's out there. There's pictures of Bo in his Tommy Harris jersey, and the family being OU people. We didn't take that for granted in recruiting. I promise you that. When you're going up against two power programs like we were for Bo, I mean, we didn't take anything for granted. But and you can't down to the last minute. I mean, you see big time guys are flipping right now at that position. So we were, it was still, we felt good, but it was great to get the, everything in today on Bo and to get him on the FaceTime with a big smile on his face, and he's fired up to be a Sooner. So, Yeah, we're just excited to get him here. It's nice that he's right in our backyard. Again, it just feels like he's been part of our program. We never lost contact with Bo, and we don't lose contact with any of our guys, but physical contact sometimes. You know, when guys are in remote locations. But it was good having him down the road.
Back to the right side, Barry.
Yeah, Jim, it seems to me that one of the big keys to this team in 25 is the retention, especially on defense. A lot of players been there a long time. It's a hard thing to do in this day and age. You've done it on some degree here. What is your role going forward in trying to make sure that continues? And you've mentioned recruiting the right kind of guys. Brent talks about it all the time. How can you do that in your role, making sure you get guys that want to be here long haul?
Well, it goes to, you know, the type of people you're bringing in the recruiting class. That's part of it. I mean, there's some guys that came on official visits where I'm like, okay, this is going to be a year-to-year proposition with this player and this family. And again, those were some pivots. You know, so you're looking right off the bat with stability and the type of people. And then I think the culture helps us retain more than anything. And you know, when I interviewed for the job and they were 6 and 7, and I'm in here in March, that did not feel like a 6 and 7 building to me at all. I could tell the culture had been set. Coach Venables has done an unbelievable job. The coaches have done an unbelievable job. Again, their relationships with these players, where our staff comes into play there. Again, we're watching all the tape. We're doing the heavy lift on the eval side. We're trimming the fat. So these guys spend so much time with their position coaches. That helps. You know, in my role, I've downloaded with everyone in every corner of the building already on the entire roster, like sit-downs, you know, had them grade players in different specific areas. So when I do meet with the players or the agents or their families, who's ever representing them, I know where the whole building stands on these guys. And yeah, it's going to be key keeping it together. There's no doubt. This is a really well-connected team, and there's a reason why this team is 10-2 right now, and it's because of the brotherhood, and that's been a really cool part of having this 26 class up here as much as they were. Is they saw it. They saw how important when I would speak to the different groups that would come up here on Saturdays for games, I would say this is great for us because like a lot of schools preach brotherhood, a lot of schools preach family and all that. Well, guys, you're getting ready to walk out in the stadium and see it. I said, watch when the offense is coming off the field and the defense is, you know, and the exchanges coming on and off. Like these guys are really connected. So I'm not just sitting up here blowing smoke. I mean, it's a real thing at OU. And again, the families and the players that want to buy into that and want to be a part of that culture, they value what we are. If you're about different stuff, if you want a flashier program or a flashier city or anything like that, then you're not for us. And I'm great with it. I'm great. The guys that end up at OU are going to be here for a reason. Those are the guys we want.
Jim, you mentioned having to deal with some of the negative recruiting with the team coming off a 6 and 7 campaign when you got here. Just what were the challenges of combating that over these last 7-8 months?
Certainly never shot back. But yeah, it's just hard when you really like a player and you know what you're selling is good for the player too. Like I believe in this program. I wouldn't have taken this job if I didn't believe in Brent and this program and the leadership here and what this program can do for young men. So when you see guys pivot only because they're getting negative thoughts put in their head by other, and I believe, maybe I'm just a believer. I knew I really felt in my gut that this was going to be a good team this year. So it was hard over the summer when you're seeing it, especially during the OV season. You're seeing guys go other places, and you're like, man, like we're losing him to that program. But again, it's worked itself out, and so hopefully we can keep the momentum going. The 2027 class is, like I said, we're off to a good start there. There's some guys that haven't announced publicly that we're really excited about that will announce publicly soon, which will make the class look even better. But yeah, hopefully we just keep riding this positive momentum.
That's all we have time for. Thanks, Jim. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.